Our daughter is really not into cannibalism, but we had some explaining to do to her group home staff. You see, she visits us every week, and then she goes back and she says, "Someone ate the baby. Someone ate the baby." Well, they were understandably puzzled about this, so they asked us about it, and we had to explain that we have a ritual with Marie when she comes home for a visit from her group home every week. Before bedtime, we read poetry to her. She loves a book of poems called Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. It's a classic. It was first published in 1974. It's a collection of kids' poems, and some of them, many of them, are funny and nonsensical. One of them is about the mysterious disappearance of the family baby, and it turns out that the poem's young narrator ate his little sister. The poem is called Dreadful, and the refrain is, "Someone ate the baby." So Marie kept quoting it, and we had to photocopy this poem and give it to her group home staff so that they would get the joke. Before we did that, I think they kind of, wondered about us. Marie likes another poem from that book, and it's called Mr. Grumbledump's Song. And it goes like this. Everything's wrong. Days are too long. Sun shines too hot. Wind is too strong. Clouds are too fluffy. Grass is too green. Ground is too dusty. Sheets are too clean. Stars are too twinkly. Moon is too high. Water's too drippy. Sand is too dry. Rocks are too heavy. Feathers too light. Kids are too noisy. Shoes are too tight. Folks are too happy singing their song. Why can't they see it? Everything's wrong. Now that is one ungrateful song, right? Well, Marie thinks it's funny. And I would think it's funny too, except for the 90% thing. In today's gospel story from Luke, Jesus heals 10 lepers, and as they go on their way, only one of the 10 comes back to Jesus to give thanks for the healing. Jesus seems bemused by the 9 grumbledumps who did not come back. He says, 10 were healed. Where are the other 9? 90% of those who got blessed failed to give thanks. Now, I'm not saying I'm one of the 9 who doesn't give thanks. And I'm not saying you're one of the 9 who doesn't give thanks. But I think that 90% thing might kind of ring true. More often than not, I fail to be thankful. More often than not, I miss the reasons to rejoice. More often than not, I am more grumpy than grateful. As I look around, I do not think that I am alone in this. I do hear a lot of complaints. I don't hear the overwhelming sound of rejoicing drowning out everything else. I do hear a lot of grumpiness. Well, I like this story from Luke's gospel a lot, and I think it gives us a challenge. Apparently, the usual gratitude rate is 1 out of 10. 10% of the time, people rejoice and give thanks. 9 out of 10 times, people are so focused on themselves or what they're going to do next, they fail to express gratitude. So the challenge is to raise the score. I want to beat the curve. I hope to be more than just 10% grateful. Surely I can do better than 10%. And I bet you can too. We all know the truth. Counting blessings increases the sense of happiness. Focusing on the good things makes us feel better, even in hard times, maybe especially in hard times. An attitude of gratitude is the secret of contentment. We know all this stuff, but we get caught up in the next thing, or we pay too much attention to all the bad news, and then we turn to the dark side, as Darth Vader put it. I have said this so many times, you'd think I would have this together by now, but I'm still working on it too. We really do tend to think that the happy people are grateful because they got what they like. But the truth is, the grateful people are happy because they like what they got. The thankful people are happier. This has been demonstrated by psychology in study after study after study. Well, spirituality has been saying the same thing for century after century after century. 10 lepers got healed. 1 came back to give thanks. He was a real 10%er. I like to think that attending services in the Episcopal Church helps in being a 10%er. You see, our central liturgy is called the Holy Eucharist. And the word Eucharist is the New Testament Greek word for, you guessed it, thanksgiving. And the Holy Eucharist comes to a climax in that prayer that we use to bless the bread and the wine together. And that prayer is called, you guessed it, the Great Thanksgiving. One of the famous mystics from the church back in the Middle Ages famously said, if the only prayer you ever say in your whole life is thank you, that would suffice. I hope we can all do better than 10% grateful. I'm working on beating the curve and counting my blessings and focusing on the wonderful things instead of all the woeful tidings. I'm trying to celebrate each day. And my daughter Marie helps me do that. She laughs a lot with me whenever we are together. And this is the girl who once said to me, God is in my heart. So is Jesus. 2 for 1. In spite of all her disabilities, she knows how to celebrate. And we can do it too. Amen.